Hi, this is Sherry Cheever here with you on behalf of Graphic 45 today. I've made this project for the newsletter this month using the 5x5 Kraftbox, and I've covered it in the Once Upon a Springtime collection paper. Of course, we've got my standard flowers. Can't do a project without those, I guess. But instead of using this box as a for cards or for photos, what I've done is I've made a kind of like an Easter gift box out of it. Some of my favorite treats and definitely some of my girls. And I always like to do a special thing for them at Easter. And I think this is something that they can keep year after year, and I'll just keep filling it in for them. To start off with, I painted the box on all sides with an ivory plaid acrylic paint, and then I've cut even inside and out the whole thing, and then I've cut my paper from this collection, Once Upon a Springtime, down to 5x5 to fit the front of the box and all the sides. I trimmed them here. I think this might be 2x5 on the sides. And then on the inside, for my top flap, I just used a coaster, and using the Spellbinder's square nestabilities, I cut out the front by marking it and then laying my nestability down to die cut out these front panels here. And then I just flipped over the paper to use the back, and then mounted another piece of the paper that was die cut with a smaller square onto a chipboard coaster that had been cut out, so that it just pops up just a little bit and it can be, looks like there's some dimension there. One thing I've learned, when you cover these boxes with so much paper, the magnets that come with the boxes don't hold. So I just added two of my own. Before I covered the paper, I added two here so that they would be covered, and I added two here on this side so that when it closes, it automatically snaps and it stays shut. What I want to show you today are these flowers. I get so many questions and I read so many comments that I can't do these flowers. Yes, you can. It's very easy, and I'm going to show you very quickly how to do them. It won't take us no time at all. I've already die cut 3 shapes using the Spellbinder's Grand Peony collections. I believe it's this size here, and all 3 the same size. And the first thing we're going to do is make a slit, just one slit, set it down. On the second one, you're going to cut out 1 petal, and you'll have that like this. And on the third piece, we're going to cut out 2 petals. Typically here I would start to sponge all my areas, but for the sake of not having a lot of time for this video, we're going to move on. I have some Ranger matte accents as my glue. You can use anything. I prefer this, and I'm going to add just a little bit of glue to one of the petals. Fold this over. We're using the one with just the slit. Fold it over and stick it together. We'll let that dry. Be dry in a few seconds. We're going to continue doing the same thing. This one, just on that petal, fold it over and glue it. All 3 of these larger are going to be just like this. And this is the last one of the largest. I see my glue's a little runny. I kind of squirted some old in with new. If you want to and use a different glue, you can use little clothespins to hold these together while they dry. This matte accents glues, even the glossy accent goes very quickly. Now that those are done, we have these 2 petals left. And I like to use a bamboo skewer. The choice is yours. I just use a little round. I have these here handy all the time. And we will start. All you need to do to curl your petals is to roll. See if I can get up here so you can see. Take it over your bamboo skewer and just roll all the petals down. So we'll roll them course, I'm trying to hurry, so because I know I don't have a lot of time here to show you the whole thing. And that is our first layer. And we'll continue to roll these. Trust me, these take hardly no time to make. Anyone can do it. Had a friend come in to visit, and she goes, "I can't make those." I said, "Here, quick, I'll show you in less than 10 minutes." And she was astounded. She left with a couple of flowers that night. So now comes the tricky part. We have the 2 petal. We're going to go ahead. I like to go ahead and roll these ends down before I start. And then I just roll this one in and roll the other one over. And at that point you can just glue them together. Now here's where sometimes I like to use my little clothespin just to keep it going so I can continue to work. Right now, let's see if this is going to hold. I'll throw a clothespin on it. Sorry. So we'll just put a little clothespin on there like that to hold it. This is the inside petal for your flower. Once again, I'm going to roll down the edges and then roll it all the way around so that you have it almost, it's connected there, and you can see it looks like this, rolled. And if you want, you can put a little bit of glue here. Sometimes I like to just take this from there and stick it right on down into the middle here and kind of work those together sometimes. I didn't do it this time, but it'll hold for the time being. So this is the center of our flower. To put these together, so I like to use my hot glue gun, and most times I will do that. But here's my base. Here's the middle portion. I kind of just push that end down so that it fits in there nicely. We'll add some glue to the bottom. Ooh. And then just stick this down in there, wiggle it till you're happy with it, the placement. If you want your petals overlapping or set off center. And then for this section, this is the middle. I place it in there. Let's see how it looks. Does it need to be cut down any? You know what? It's going to be good by the time I get it glued in there. So I'm just going to add a little bit of glue down in here in the bottom. Figure this in there and then just kind of press it. Hold it for a minute so it sets up. And then we have our center, and of course you're going to see it's a little too tall for my flower. And I'm just going to take and trim the bottom of this off just a little bit and place it. I like that. So I'm adding more glue to there, putting the center in and pressing it down. And in just a few minutes, we've created a flower. From here, you can add stickles, spritz it however you want to show off your flower, but it's ready to be used on a project now. One of the other flowers on this box, my little running glue there, another flower on this box are made with the new Bitty Blossoms Spellbinder dies. They go very quickly. I'm going to cover up this mess I've got going down here. And what I like to do is I take a piece of foam, and I have these stylus. I have one with a very large ball on the end, and then I have another one with some smaller balls. There we go. And I will decide I want this side out of my blossom, of my little bud. So I'm using my stylus. I'm going to go around and just put a dent in each of these little flowers so that they'll have some type of curve to them as I roll them up. Now we would do this for the other one as well. I haven't done that in advance. I'm just seeing how fast we can really do these to show you all. But it can be done quickly, and anyone can do them. And I have all those in there now. And actually, I have this petal roller from Imaginese, I think. And I'm just going to take it and slide. You can use a regular, like a skewer or something straight. but I have this little petal roller and it just rolls around. And I'm having the ends that I just pressed, they're all coming to the center. Because I just want to make like a little unopened bud. And we just roll this around. As you can see, it's done. You can kind of let that fan out a little bit. And then on the bottom, there's this little flap. Just add some of your glue. Stick it down on the bottom and press and hold it for a few seconds. And we have just a little bud that I like to use just to offset on some of the other larger flowers that I use. For this one, this is a little bit different. I'm going to take top side up because I want this butterfly pattern to be on the outside. And I'm just going to roll in a couple to get it going. And then I'm going to flip it over. And using my stylus, I'm just going to keep pressing in those little petals so that they automatically roll over. This sure saves time instead of trying to roll them over a bamboo skewer, which I think I might have done for one of my projects for CHA, and it took forever. And you're welcome to do that. It makes a pretty shaped flower. This kind of looks a little more distressed when you're done. And now that I have that, I'm going to take my bamboo skewer, and I want the top that rolls, I want it to be on the outside so I can continue to shape them. So the two that are coming in now, I'm going to add this to my petal roller, and I'm just going to roll it up. And as you can see, it's starting to fan out a little bit as I roll. And this really doesn't roll in a nice square. It kind of comes off like in a triangle of some type. But now that I have this together, I'm going to hold it here and just let it fan out a little bit. Unroll it some so it's not so tight and it looks a little more open. And I have a habit of going a little too far sometimes. That's no problem. I'm just going to get back down in there and twist it again. Well, we've really made a mess of this one, but you're getting the idea of how it does. And just put a little glue, and as you're holding it here, we're going to go ahead and push those down, and we have then just a flower that we can use with this one, or we can have our little bud that we're just going to place here, and it would look similar to this then. And those are the three that I've used on this box. And like this, but only I put some distressed stickles, rock candy stickles on my flowers to give them just a little bit of shimmer for the project. So I think you can do it, and I would love to see you do it. So let me know. Send me an email when you make some of my flowers and let me know so I can hop by your blog and see what you've been up to. And that's all today, and I thank you for joining me.